Kevin Paul's year two of the Niverville Nighthawks. The excitement has grown after last year's playoff appearance, first playoff victory as well. So a lot of those boxes have been checked off already. So what are the expectations in Niverville for a Nighthawks club that is looking to take that next step?
Well, the feeling around the rink is, one of unfinished business, which is kind of cool considering they're in year two. It's nice to have lofty goals, and Coach Kelvin Check, his mandate this year is new heights, and that's something they're hoping to achieve. So I think making the playoffs last year was a really big, bonus for the organization, a really big win for them. I know it went a long way for the community, and then getting a win against Portage and pushing a couple games into overtime was really cool as well, because here you're fighting with some of the best, one of the top teams in the league, and it shows that you can run along with them. And this year, I know the Nighthawks, they want to be that. Ultimately, they want to be one of the top tier teams in the league. They've worked hard to go out and find the personnel for it. I know Mike McCauley's constantly on the phone and on the road, digging and turning over rocks, looking for that talent, as is Kelvin Check, pulling the strings from his position, trying to make the best roster he can bring forward. And the community's hungry. That's a hockey hungry community. At preseason games, our numbers were really good. It was a pretty packed house, and I don't expect to see anything different once the regular season starts. There's a high level of buzz in town, and I'm excited to see this when everything starts next Friday.
From the outside, a couple of questions would maybe be where they're going to get goals from. We saw Brett Tatarin get a couple. I think Nathan Brown is going to be a goal scorer in this league. Michael Tanchak, I think a change of scenery is going to do well for him. But you lost some dynamic players on the back end as well. Where are the goals going to come from, and how is Niverville going to find the offense to stick with the top teams in the league?
Well, they brought in a lot of youth this year. You mentioned Nathan Brown, who's certainly a big add. There's a number of other players too that they can bring to bear as well. The trick is going to be, like you said, finding that offense. I think they're going to have to rely on players like, Ty Kennett, Carter Spearig to step up their game. Brett Tatarin looks like he's got a little more of an offensive edge this year, and they may have to lean on that. But they do have a lot of skill. And watching their defense, there's a lot of speed there. They move the puck out of their own end really well. They regroup so well out of their corners, and they're calm and poised, especially considering some of them are younger players. So I don't see that. I see them being able to be competitive, and certainly will give a lot of teams a run for their money. And they're going to be battling for one of those top two playoff spots in the East.
Defensively, again, they're like you said, they're going maybe a little bit younger, but a little bit more offensive. That means we could see a lot of chances going back the other way on a pair of goaltenders that look really, really ready for the challenge. I know Keegan Gordon moving from the situation he was in last year to Niverville, huge step in his development. He's hoping for this year, and then Raiden Legal looks really good. Take us through the goaltending of Niverville, which it's funny, I don't even think of it because I'm just assuming it's going to be good.
Yeah, and I was a big fan of Keegan Gordon last year because I thought he did a lot of work for the Winnipeg Freeze. He saw a ton of shots, and watching him keep his team within shouting distance a lot of nights was just a spectacle unto itself. And I don't see anything different moving forward. He's an athletic goaltender, a great kid with a great mindset, and he goes out there every night expecting to go get a win, and he wants to make that stop. He's another goaltender too that never gives up on a play. Positionally, he's very solid, but also too when it comes to the athletic side of things, you just see him making saves that typically you wouldn't expect. On the side of Raiden Legal, not just the most valuable goaltender in the AAA midget league in Manitoba last year, but the most valuable player. That speaks volumes to his skill level, and the Nighthawks have something really special there. I think the eyes were opened out in Everett when he went to their camp in the Western League, and there's a lot of buzz surrounding him too. He's from my hometown of Morden, so I have had the ability to watch him play up through the ranks, and it's been really neat. There's a lot of connection there. I know his parents a little bit, and it's kind of a special scenario when you get that some sort of familiarity with a player. And in this case, this is a kid. Watching him on Wednesday night, boy, man, he just makes everything look so calm and cool, and he's got his angles down, and he's got a vicious left glove hand. So I'm excited for that.
Year two for Kelvin Check, and even though he's been a head coach in the league before, it is a very different program when you're starting from scratch and you have character, you have all this systems you want to put in place. Year two might be a little easier for Mr. Check. He knows a little bit more about what he wants and what he has. Just take us through the expected growth. as a coaching staff this year and how that's going to help the Nighthawks mature as hockey players?
Well, I think coming through year one in an organization, there's people that have to wear a lot of hats. And I think some of the hats fell on Kelvin Check too. And this year, with the addition of some other staff members, maybe being able to alleviate some of that pressure, the focus can just be on hockey operations. And Kelvin's a tactical mind. He likes, thinking through things. He approaches things and gathers all his data and then executes. And he's a man that operates at a very high level. So in this case, this year, he's got his eyes fully set on the hockey side of things. He'll be able to get everything organized on the ice and hopefully get the support from the organization too to give him the freedom to go out and find the players that he needs and to go out and make sure that the Nighthawks are moving in the right direction.
All right, Paulsy, you talked about it. Last year, getting in the playoffs, getting the win, pushing the Terriers to some overtime games. You said they're in the hunt for a top two spot. Is it a matter of just getting in and getting through a round now? Is that the next step for the Nighthawks, or is there bigger aspirations for that club, and can they live up to it?
Well, championship aspirations are what everyone's here for. So I don't want to diminish the fact that sure they want to go out and win. I think it would be amazing to see them win a round and be able to stick tap at the end and salute the crowd. I think that would be huge for the community of Niverville, especially when you look at the building process. Year one, making the playoffs, yeah, feather in your cap. Year two, jeepers, maybe we have a chance to carry further here, and winning a round would go a long way. But I know that team wants to win and they want to win right away, and there's nobody that's going to tell them that they can't.